She never imagined the man she fell for was her husband's boss. But when secrets get too expensive to hide, love turns deadly. This is the story of Marissa, a woman who was swept into a world of wealth, lies, and betrayal, and how one forbidden affair unraveled everything she ever knew. By the end of this video, you'll see how a single choice destroyed 2 marriages and left an entire neighborhood in shock. It started in a quiet neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jonathan Blake, a millionaire real estate developer, hosted a charity gala at the local country club, and that's where he first saw her. Marissa, she wasn't one of the guests. She was helping with cleanup volunteering, alongside her husband Chris, who worked as a full-time security guard at one of Jonathan's properties. She wore a simple navy blue dress, nothing flashy, but somehow, she stood out. Jonathan couldn't stop watching her, and when their eyes met for the first time, something dangerous sparked. Throughout the evening, Jonathan kept finding reasons to be near her. Compliment about her work, a brush of the hand when passing a glass of wine. Every moment between them felt like it lasted too long. Marissa tried to ignore it. She loved her husband. They didn't have much, but they had peace. Still, something about the attention, the luxury, the thrill of being seen by a man like that, started eating at her resolve. The next morning, she found a small package on her doorstep, a gift box with her name handwritten in gold ink. Inside, a rose gold bracelet. No note, just the initials JB. It didn't stop there. Every few days, more gifts arrived. Designer handbags, perfume, even cash. First, she sent them back. But the more she fought it, the more she wanted it. Then came the message. Room 814, Tuesday night. Come if you want more than just gifts. She stared at it for hours, first in disbelief, then denial, then quiet curiosity. That night, she told Chris she was working late at church. In reality, she was walking into a 5-star hotel suite. Jonathan was waiting, shirt unbuttoned, champagne in hand. They didn't talk much. They didn't need to. The moment their lips met, Marissa crossed a line she could never uncross. From that night on, their affair became a ritual, cloaked in secrecy, lit by city lights, and driven by pure desire. Marissa and Jonathan met in places where no one would think to look. Underground garages, Airbnb lofts under fake names, and on weekends when Chris worked overnight security shifts. Every encounter felt stolen. Every kiss carried the thrill of being caught. Jonathan didn't just offer her attention. He opened the door to a life she had only seen in glossy magazines. He took her to rooftop restaurants in Chicago, weekend getaways in Aspen, luxury boutiques where she didn't have to check price tags. By the end of the month, Marissa's closet had transformed. Gucci heels, silk robes, diamond earrings, even a brand new iPhone. She wasn't just cheating on her husband. She was cheating on her entire reality. And the more time she spent with Jonathan, the less she felt like Chris's wife. Her modest home now felt dull. Her husband's affection, too predictable. She began skipping church, ignoring texts from family, making up errands just to feel the rush of another secret meeting. Jonathan made her feel seen, beautiful, chosen, and she let herself believe the lie that nothing bad could come from feeling this good. But back home, everything was starting to fall apart. Jonathan's wife, Danielle, wasn't stupid. She had been with him for 18 years. She knew when something shifted. He was coming home late, canceling family dinners, turning his phone screen away when she entered the room. First, she brushed it off. Work was stressful. Maybe he needed space. But deep down, she knew. One night, while Jonathan was asleep, she reached for his phone. Locked. The next morning, he changed the passcode. And just like that, the truth wasn't far, it was hiding in plain sight. Back at home, things were unraveling. Chris knew something wasn't right. Marissa had started coming home late, always with excuses. Her hair done up like she'd just come from a salon. Makeup wiped off in a hurry. She was nervous, distant. And then came the bags. New outfits still in Nordstrom packaging. Designer perfumes. Gold earrings she claimed were a birthday gift from an old friend. But Chris wasn't buying it. They were barely scraping by on his paycheck. They had savings goals, dreams. None of what she was bringing home added up. He asked. She dodged. He pressed. She got defensive. Their once peaceful home grew cold. Silent dinners, tense mornings, empty apologies. And Chris's heart began to break in slow motion. Across town, Danielle was already 2 steps ahead. She'd been following Jonathan's car for days. And every time, the pattern was the same. Luxury hotel, late check-in, solo checkout, sometimes a suite booked under another name, sometimes 2 toothbrushes left behind. One afternoon, while Jonathan showered, she finally unlocked his phone using Face ID. There it was. A message from a contact saved as Morgan. But it wasn't a Morgan. It was Marissa. And the thread was filled with selfies. I miss you texts and hotel room numbers. Danielle didn't cry. She simmered. That same week, Chris walked past 2 neighbors whispering on the front porch. And she's always with that real estate guy. What's his name again? The millionaire with the Tesla. Jonathan Blake. You didn't hear? He's seeing some woman from the South Side. She's married to his security staff. Chris stopped in his tracks. The blood left his face. No, couldn't be. But deep down, he already knew. The next day, he followed Marissa after she said she was heading to Bible study. He trailed her down the freeway, past the church, past downtown, until she turned into the valet of the Marriott Presidential Suites. Chris parked 2 blocks away and waited. An hour passed, then 2. When she finally came out, she was glowing, holding a small designer clutch he'd never seen before, smiling to herself like a woman who'd just lived out a fantasy. And right then, Chris's chest caved in. Everything inside him twisted. Shock, heartbreak, rage. He didn't even confront her. He just sat there, fists clenched, watching the love of his life walk away from the life they had built. That evening, Danielle made her move. When Jonathan walked in the door, she was waiting at the kitchen counter, wine glass in hand, iPad on the table. I know, she said. He froze. What are you talking about? She turned the screen toward him, screenshots of every message. Photos, hotel receipts. You cheated on me, with her. And don't you dare lie. Jonathan stammered, tried to control the conversation. But Danielle wasn't yelling. She wasn't crying. She was furious, calm, and calculated. You didn't just betray me, she said. You disrespected me. You humiliated me. And now you're going to pay. Jonathan tried to talk his way out of it. Tried to claim it was a mistake. That it didn't mean anything. But Danielle wasn't having it. Her voice rose. His did too. It turned from guilt to gaslighting. From apologies to accusations. She warned him, if you don't make this right, I will burn your name to the ground. And he knew she meant it. That same night, Marissa walked into their home like nothing had happened. Chris was waiting in the living room, hands shaking, eyes locked on the door the moment she walked in. Where were you? His voice was quiet, strained, already broken. She froze. I was at the... Don't lie to me, Marissa. He was crying now, voice trembling. Just tell me the truth. There was a long silence. Then, she nodded. Tears welled up in her eyes as the words slipped out. Yes, it's true. She tried to explain. How she got caught up. How she didn't mean to fall. But Chris, he wasn't hearing it anymore. The pain turned sharp. His voice exploded. He grabbed her arm, shouting, shaking, overwhelmed by rage and disbelief. She screamed. Neighbors ran in. One pulled him back. Another called the police. What had started as love had curdled into something unrecognizable. Their marriage, their dreams, their vows were shattered in the span of one confession. By morning, the entire neighborhood knew. The texts, the hotel, the confrontation, the police report. It spread fast from Facebook moms groups to business circles. Jonathan Blake, the perfect family man, was now the center of a scandal. He was uninvited from charity boards. Sponsors pulled funding. Business partners ghosted his calls. His reputation, once polished and untouchable, was now synonymous with betrayal. Marissa faced her own storm. Whispers in the grocery store. Cold stares at church. Friends stopped returning her texts. What once felt like a fantasy now felt like exile. She wasn't the queen in a secret love story. She was the villain in everyone else's. Couldn't open Instagram without someone reposting a meme about the wife who lost it all for a man with a Tesla. The same neighbors who once greeted her with warmth now crossed the street to avoid her. She was no longer the kind, hard-working wife of the neighborhood security guard. She was the homewrecker, the gold digger, and the love she thought she felt for Jonathan? It now tasted like regret. The affair didn't just tear apart two marriages. It split friendships, families, even church pews. Some stood by Danielle and Chris, offering hugs, prayers, support. Others whispered, well, maybe if they paid more attention, this wouldn't have happened. Blame passed around like wildfire, and with it, trust burned to ash. What had once been a tightly knit community now felt fractured. Every backyard barbecue, every Sunday gathering, carrying the tension of what had been lost. But Danielle wasn't done. She called Jonathan into her lawyer's office one rainy afternoon with a proposition. Sign over the secret houses and businesses, the accounts, and keep your mouth shut, or I'll tell every investor in this city what you've really been doing with their money. With everything on the line, his brand, his companies, his pride, he signed. Property transferred. Business control handed over. And the woman he thought he had broken now stood as the one thing he couldn't touch. Untouchable. Danielle didn't just walk away from the marriage. She ended it. Officially. The divorce was swift, brutal, public. With the wealth and control she won from Jonathan, Danielle launched a new life on her own terms. Chris, on the other hand, was breaking down from the inside. His friends filled his ears with talk of revenge. Expose the guy. Smash his car. Ruin his face. Chris didn't respond, but their words sank in. Heartbreak had mutated into obsession. Pain had sharpened into planning. In his mind, this wasn't over. Not yet. Marissa tried to reach out. She called. She texted. She even stood outside Chris's job one evening in the rain, hoping just to say, I'm sorry, but he couldn't look at her the same way anymore. She wasn't the woman he came home to. She was the woman who left him without ever leaving the house. Chris soon filed for divorce. It was quiet. No court fights. No screaming matches. Just a simple truth. He was done. And so, Marissa moved out alone. She moved out of the neighborhood and rented a small apartment across town. No more fancy gifts. No more hotel rooms. Just space. She started working retail again, quietly, humbly. And even though she couldn't undo what she had done, she carried it like a scar. A reminder, not a sentence. Slowly, she began to heal. Chris's healing was slow, but steady. Therapy, late-night walks, good friends who didn't let him spiral. And one day, after months of silence, he texted Marissa, I forgive you. That doesn't mean we go back. But it means I go forward. And with that, he started over. New job, new city, a little more guarded, but whole. Not every story ends with justice, or even peace, but they all end somehow. If the story made you feel something, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell us in the comments, would you have forgiven